Okay. Good evening, guys. Tonight we're going to talk about sleep. And I think everybody knows there is a bit of a problem with sleep. In fact, 70% of people in the world are sleep deprived. And a third of people get less than 6 hours of sleep a night. The world is moving at a faster pace, and we are sleeping less. And insomnia has been declared a public health epidemic. Lack of sleep reduces concentration, logical thinking, and memory. So if you're losing your mind, it could be your sleep. Okay, I have to do it like that. Okay, right. Children are sleeping 2 hours less than they did a century ago. And we have a problem with sleep with all ages. Children are more stressed now than ever before. So it's become a real problem for everyone of all ages. Now, one of the first things that we need to look at is sleep has amazingly terrible consequences in some cases. In the United States, 56 million people admit to having difficulty staying awake while driving. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but certainly if I haven't had a good night's sleep, it's very difficult to keep awake. And in America, it causes 1 million accidents per year. Imagine that, 1 million accidents. And about 8 million of people struggle to lose the struggle to fall asleep. So we find that 1 million accidents per year with 500,000 injuries. 55,000 of them are debilitating, quadriplegics, etc. And there's 7,000 deaths. So we might think, it's not so bad not sleeping, but clearly it causes a lot of problems. And you know, in South Africa, the figures are probably higher because we've got a much higher percentage of death rates on roads. So it is a real problem. Bad sleep leads to poor judgment. We miss 10 times as many signals in our visual field. In other words, we simply just don't see what is happening around us. So as you're driving along, you can miss things on the road. Cars coming along, you miss them. And it's linked to double vision, that's lack of sleep, tunnel vision, and dimness of vision. And the longer you are awake, the more visual errors there are. So lack of sleep even leads to hallucinations. It leads to accidents, as we said. Now, can you imagine an air traffic controller that did not sleep the night before? It affects the brain in many ways. So the brain weighs 2 to 3% of the body's weight, but it uses 20 to 30% of the body's energy. So sleep is very important when we are consolidating our memory. It's crucial for focus, alertness, and attention. And kids can't concentrate if they don't sleep enough. So can you imagine trying to teach kids who haven't slept, and we find that they will then be could be put on strong drugs. And those kids could be thought of as having ADD or one of those conditions, put on drugs because they didn't sleep or they don't sleep well at night. Now, our reaction time is 3 times longer than if we're alert. So a quarter-second reaction time if we're not tired, or 3, 4, or 5-second reaction time if we haven't slept well. So you can see why there's so many accidents when people have been sleep deprived. Now, the lymphatic system is the way we drain our mind and actually our brain. In fact, the lymphatic system drains the rest of the body, but during sleep, in the brain, the lymphatic vessels open up and they remove cellular debris. And in fact, Alzheimer's brains have abnormal buildup of beta amyloid, which is a protein that actually stops the functioning of the brain. And this forms plaque in the brain, leading to Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. So when we have a beta amyloid buildup, it stops the firing of the neurons and disrupts cell function. So lack of sleep increases the risk of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, which is quite scary, really, if you think about it. Okay, so we detox while we sleep. Now, when we sleep, we're supposed to go through a whole process of sleep, different levels of sleep, and the parasympathetic nervous system should kick into gear. So while we are awake, under stress, we're in the sympathetic nervous system, also called fight or flight. But when we are asleep, we're supposed to be in the parasympathetic nervous system. And there we excrete damaged cells, remove metabolic waste, rebalance the neurotransmitters, create new neurotransmitters, and increase neurotransmitter receptor sensitivity. So the parasympathetic is our rest, digest, and heal autonomic nervous system, or part of the autonomic nervous system. So we would have to go into that and stay in there for a long period of time. And in fact, some people have said that you should be in that for most of the day. But in our busy lives, in today's modern world, we end up being in the sympathetic nervous system a lot longer than we should be. And if we don't sleep and we get frustrated for not being able to sleep, then we have this issue where we stay in a fight or flight situation and we don't heal. The body can't heal. We can't remove toxins, and we just don't get better. So that is a real problem. Now, athletic performance. Because athletes are 3 times slower than when they haven't slept and they're more sluggish, they can't perform at their best. So a tennis player will get less services in first time and is far less likely to return the serve. Now imagine a Formula One driver going down the straight at 200 miles an hour. And instead of a quarter second or quicker reaction time, he's got a 5-second reaction time. Another car turns in front of him and cuts him off. With a 5-second reaction time, what is going to happen? Okay, so when we sleep, we integrate our learnings. So what we've learned during the day becomes integrated into our minds and brains. And it's important because the integration takes place during the different levels of sleep. And it's usually divided into 4 categories: awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Now, each one is important for our mental and physical health. And one of the functions, as I said, is the integration of learning. So we can remember and process what we've learned. Now, children who are learning for exams and cram too long actually might remember less because it's not integrated if they don't sleep well. So staying up late is not always the best. And as far as energy goes, remember I said that the brain uses 20 to 30% of your energy. So it takes 2 to 3% of your weight, but it's 20 to 30% of your energy is used in the brain. So it's like a small nuclear reactor that's burning up fuel all the time. And it just can't be replenished if you do not sleep. So sleep helps you maintain a healthy brain. And I think we all would like a healthy brain. In fact, someone said to me the other day, I would like to keep my mind. I don't mind pain. I don't mind anything else, but I don't want to lose my identity, because our identity is our memories. And if we don't sleep, we might lose our memories. And that's really who we are. So imagine not being able to remember. And I think we've all been under stress and found that our memories aren't always working as well as they should. But if we sleep well, getting our full 8 hours a day, then we can remember those things. Okay, missed this one. Okay, sleep stabilizes blood pressure. So if the blood pressure is stabilized by sleep, then our blood pressure can normalize. And many times we treat sleep apnea and other sleeping disorders with strong drugs. The point is that your blood pressure will be much higher. And the leading cause of high blood pressure is sleep disorders, sleep apnea. These different things are the main cause of all these problems. Okay, the immune system. Now, sleep is important for our resilience and our resistance to infections. A lack of sleep increases the risk of catching a cold by between 200 and 300%. Imagine that. You don't sleep, so you get sick. And that is really, really not good at all. Now, the difference between 5 and 7 hours is huge, because at 5 hours sleep, we are much, much more likely to catch a cold. And that's regardless of weight and demographics. It's just simply a fact that your immune system is really, really suppressed when you don't sleep. And lack of sleep is associated with cancer and the growth of cancer. If you don't sleep, and especially if you're stressed, you're going to have a real problem with health issues. Low melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. If you're not sleeping and you're not relaxing, it's a cancer antioxidant. And shift workers, etc., who don't sleep well are much more vulnerable to cancer. So that is a very, very important factor when it comes to sleep. Okay, obesity and diabetes. Lack of sleep affects the regulation of appetite. So if you're not sleeping, you'll often find that the person has an issue and tends to overeat. And it contributes to obesity and diabetes, because fat cells can't metabolize glucose. And research found that we snack more when we're sleep deprived. We also pick calorie-rich food over healthy meals. And this is especially true for children. Okay, not sleeping can cause irritable bowel syndrome and irritable bowel disease, and cause acid reflux. So digestive issues are a major, major problem when it comes to sleep. And you're at far, far higher risk of developing gastrointestinal diseases and syndromes, abdominal pain, diarrhea, gas and bloating. So another point is that in some cases, there's a loss of appetite or unexplained weight loss mucus in the blood, in the stools, upset stomach, and cramping, diarrhea, constipation. Many of these are thought to be physical issues, and they become physical issues because we don't sleep well. So that is a real problem for non-sleepers or sleepers who don't sleep well. Now, people tend to have mood swings, and things irritate us more when we haven't slept well. So disturbances and interruptions during our working day affect us more when we're not able to sleep well. So poor sleep is linked with migraines and sleep apnea with headaches. So sometimes we'll be taking strong drugs, hopefully not, but it could just be that we haven't slept well or we haven't drunk enough water. So this is an issue as far as that's concerned. And it also affects our sex drive and results in low sex drive and a problem with genital response. So for guys, this could be a real problem. But good sleep increases the frequency of sexual engagement. So a healthy sex life will also assist us with many things, being calm, relaxed, and sleeping better. So it's extremely important that we take care of these things. So why can't you sleep? Well, there's a number of different reasons. One thing is stress, nutritional deficiencies another, gut issues, blood sugar regulation, and poor sleep hygiene. Stress is another thing. Now, I spoke earlier about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic branches of the autonomic nervous system. So if you're in the sympathetic nervous system where you're stressed, fight or flight, expecting to be chased by a lion or a saber-toothed tiger, or being run over by a car or attacked by some criminals, that is, the stress response could mean difficulty breathing, even panic attacks, blurred eyesight, and sore eyes, sleep issues, fatigue, muscle aches and headaches, chest pains and high blood pressure, indigestion or heartburn. So there are a lot of things that this causes. So one of the things, as we said, is nutritional deficiencies. And we need to actually eat real food. You know, we've spoken about nutrients before, and we need to get onto a diet that's mostly vegetables and fruit and healthy, non-processed foods. So to produce the correct neurotransmitters and proteins and hormones, we need a really healthy diet. And GABA, which is one of the 4 brain amino acids, most important ones, for example, signals the brain to relax. Now, we need to have enough GABA, which we can get from diet if we eat a correct diet, which contains substances which produce GABA. Another one is serotonin. And you need serotonin for conversion factors so your mind can produce melatonin, the sleep hormone. And I mentioned that earlier, but we'll look at the brain neurotransmitters another time. But there are 4 basic neurotransmitters that need to be in balance. And there's GABA, serotonin, acetylcholine, which affects memory, and dopamine. Those have to be fully in balance, but we're not going to look at that tonight. We'll look at those another time. We need to go organic wherever possible, so as to exclude toxins such as pesticides, molds, and heavy metals. And stomach acid is very important for the absorption. So we need to look and see if we've got the correct stomach acid. Otherwise, we won't be producing the important or absorbing the important nutrients to produce what we need for a healthy body and mind. Another thing is gut issues. Now, most melatonin is produced in the gut and not the pineal gland as people think. So melatonin helps us to sleep. And if we don't produce enough melatonin, then we're not going to have a deep and good sleep. Now, the gut affects many areas of our bodies. So even though we might have gut issues and not relate them to issues with the mind, for instance, depression starts in the gut. The bacteria, friendly bacteria is a massive part of how we digest our food. So if we haven't got the correct digestive enzymes, the correct bacteria to digest the foods, we're going to be in serious trouble. We get vitamins, and the gut flora synthesizes vitamins directly, synthesizes calcium and iron. And if we're also toxic, for instance, we have heavy metals, the actual body can't recognize the vitamins and the minerals, etc., because the toxicity of the heavy metals are affecting the way we absorb, and we can't absorb correctly. Our gut also affects our immunity. So gut bacteria affect and defend us from invading bacteria. So it provides, some people say, up to 80% of the immune system. So 80% of the immune system is in the gut. So if we don't have that working well, and non-sleeping affects the gut bacteria and causes our bodies to become acidic, which means that the incorrect bacteria will grow or have an overgrowth, and the good and friendly bacteria won't be able to grow properly. So another thing is inflammation. When we don't sleep well, the gut, we get inflammation throughout the body, and inflammation has been fingered as far as most health conditions are concerned. And we know that cancer is very much related to inflammation, infections, etc. So inflammation is a huge part and a really serious problem which we have. And it plays, the gut bacteria plays a role in inflammatory disease, IBS and colitis. All these things have to do with inflammation. So if we're not sleeping and we're inflamed and acidic, then all these conditions can result. The obesity, our gut bacteria in the obese people is quite different from people who are not overweight. So there's a big difference in gut bacteria. So that changes so many things. Also, blood sugar regulation. There's a link between autism and bacterial diversity. We know that autism has been caused by some drugs, but many people who are autistic have had a C-section birth where they're injected with antibiotics as soon as they're born, and the mother's injected with antibiotics. Now, those antibiotics cause a major problem to the gut bacteria. So an imbalanced gut bacteria is a big problem when it comes to autistic children. Also, our bodies can't release toxins very well without the correct bacteria. And then, of course, we've got blood sugar regulation. Now, if we don't sleep well, then our blood sugar is not regulated correctly. And that's a major problem, because if our blood sugar shoots up, then we get the possibility of overloading the blood with sugar and even insulin. And as we overload the blood with insulin and blood sugar, we won't be able to sleep anyway. So that's a major problem. So it's a bit of a vicious circle where we have blood sugar going up because we're not sleeping, and not sleeping because of blood sugar and insulin increasing. Then, of course, we get the diabetic issues, etc. So that is another factor, and the pancreas can be overloaded and damaged. So there are many, many problems and issues that could result. Okay, now let's talk about sleep hygiene. You know that it's very, very important to sleep well, that we have a cool room. Heat leads to a poor sleep. If we're too hot, we don't go into the deep sleep that's necessary for us to rest, digest, and to heal. Another factor is make the room as dark as possible. Sometimes we have these very light curtains and light shines in. I remember a friend of mine used to live in a hotel room, and I was living in Pretoria at the time, and he lived in this hotel room, and right outside his window was the sign that showed the name of the hotel, and this thing used to flash all night. And I can tell you this, that he didn't sleep very much at all. So we need to even get darker curtains, blank out the light wherever possible, and then we will be able to have a much better sleep. And we should avoid caffeine at least 8 hours before going to sleep, or trying to go to sleep. Now, that seems like a lot, but caffeine is a stimulant that can keep us awake for many, many hours. So the idea is that we either avoid it, and remember, caffeine is in drinks, sugary drinks like colas, etc. So one has to be very careful of that. And obviously, we know that it's in coffee and other drinks that are stimulants. Your energy drinks often contain caffeine, which stimulate us, and then they ruin our sleep. And we shouldn't eat at least 3 hours before going to sleep, because eating before going to sleep causes our digestive system to work overtime. So you can't have a repair and you can't sleep. Now, when we don't sleep, our circadian rhythm is often out. And this means that our body is expecting to sleep at different times and not at night. So when our circadian rhythm is out, we might feel extremely tired during the day, but then at night we're wide awake. So one of the things we can do is get sun exposure, especially early in the morning. So sun exposure is extremely important. And we should do that during the day, and then regularly exercise. And I'm not saying you should do over exercising. Some people run for miles and miles and miles. I'm not suggesting that, but what I'm saying is walking. One of the ways we heal is even jumping on a trampoline, because that detoxifies the lymphatic system, and that is so very important. And we should avoid blue light, TV screens. Keep the cell phone out of our room. Keep the TV off out of our room, and switch the TV off a long time before we go to bed. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have got a fire, but if you sit watching a fire, you find that you will sleep much better. So it's a little bit like going to the beach, and then you come home and that night you sleep so well because you've had breathed in ozone at the beach, oxygen at the beach, fresh air, and that is absolutely wonderful. But fire, the orange light on fire, can also put us to sleep very well. So sitting around a campfire is very important. And then, of course, we should wind down a few hours before sleep. You know, I find that if I work up until I go to sleep, often my mind is racing and I really struggle to fall asleep. So working during the time, a few hours before sleep is not healthy at all. Now, I mentioned coffee. I'm going to talk to you about something called Brew. This is something that we discovered fairly recently, and it's a superfood which is made from mastic, which is actually from South America, but it's grown in the Karoo. And it was brought into South Africa many years ago, and it was as an animal feed, but actually they found that it's actually an amazing superfood. And it's slow roasted, and it enhances the rich, smooth caramel and nutty flavors that can be enjoyed just like coffee. So you can actually get Brew, and I can say this, that BioSol have it on their website, and the products we're going to talk about tonight are all available on the BioSol website. But this Brew is a wonderful thing. It contains the essential sugars. Now, as you know, essential sugars are essential for every cell in our body. And Brew energizes and uplifts us. So it's really, really a wonderful thing. It's not expensive, and it's made exactly the same as coffee in a plunger or a coffee machine. It's got no side effects, no caffeine, and good thing is there's no acidity, because if you realize that caffeine in coffee is acidic, and it can cause your body to become acidic. So an acidic body is exactly what we don't want, because that's where all kinds of health issues can begin. When the body's acidic, we lay ourselves open to cancer, to viral infections, to bacterial infections, lots of things like that. Another thing that Brew does is it actually balances your blood sugar. So if you drink Brew, it will be balancing your blood sugar, as well as many, many tablets can do. And the good thing is, it tastes absolutely delicious. So I would recommend that you try Brew, because it is a wonderful product, and it can really help you in many, many ways. Okay, another thing we're going to talk about now is grounding. And grounding is when we walk barefoot outside, and we find that it improves mood, it improves sleep, reduces pain, and the earth contains many, many negative ions. So when you're walking bare feet, you're actually receiving negative ions from the earth, and this acts as a free radical scavenger. So it is an antioxidant. So when you're walking, you're actually healing your body. And many people have healed themselves of many conditions just by walking on the ground. There are pieces of equipment that you can get which actually earth us and ground us, but really the best way is to walk outside with bare feet, and especially in summer, it will be very easy to do. It enhances wound healing, it boosts immunity. So if you want to do something that really is good for you, you should do that. And getting out into nature. So grounding also reduces inflammation, and it increases heart rate variability. Now, that's one of the tests that you can actually do, is heart rate variability. If the heart rate can vary a lot, then you find that you're much more healthy. And in fact, we have a scanner where you can scan the heart rate variability, and it was developed for the Russian space program. And that scanner can scan your heart rate variability and give you a number from 1 to 10. And if you're at 1, you're healthy and ready for space, which is how they actually use these scanners for the space program in Russia. And you can become a cosmonaut if you're at 1. If you're at 9 or 10, you're in absolutely serious trouble. You need to work very hard to repair your system. It also reduces blood viscosity. Now we're talking about grounding. Blood viscosity. So with blood viscosity, If the blood is very thick, then it's an issue, and you get blood clotting, possibility of strokes, heart issues, blood clotting, many issues. So grounding can affect that as well. So it's really healthy to walk outside. Now we're going to look at a few products that are available, and these are all available on the BioSol website. We've got something called Sleep Informational. Now, Sleep Informational is a product which doesn't actually hold any herbs or any products. It's got a bit of colloidal silver in it, some water, and it's programmed with information. And that information is sleep information. So you can take some of these drops and it can help you drift off into a wonderful sleep. And as you drift down deeper and deeper into sleep, so you become more and more relaxed. And the deeper you go, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you go. As you drift down into a deep sleep, so you feel so very healthy, so very much better. And the better you feel, the deeper you go. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. And then, of course, another product which we have is called Sleepyhead Tincture. And that contains some really super herbs in a tincture form. So you can take drops and you can make it before you go to bed. So you take it about a half an hour before going to bed. And as you take this, so you drift and dream deeper and deeper into a wonderful and relaxing and peaceful sleep. Feeling so very good. So very relaxed. The deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go. And this tincture, Sleepyhead, contains valerian, passion flower, chamomile, hops, scaletium. Now, scaletium is the largest selling natural antidepressant in America. And it comes from the Kalahari Desert, just near us. And it takes you down, relaxing, drifting and dreaming. And then you've got skullcap in that tincture as well. Now, skullcap also takes you deeper and deeper and deeper into a much more relaxed state, relaxing, drifting down. The next one is a capsule form of it, and that's got valerian, passion flower, hops, skullcap, chamomile, and scaletium as well. So if you prefer Sleepyhead capsules, you can use those, or you can use the tincture. And you can take as many or as few as you need to, because they do no harm. They're just herbs that help you drift and dream into the deepest possible sleep. And now we look at magnesium. We have a product called magnesium, MSM, and D3. Now, magnesium helps the body to relax. It helps the muscles to relax and has many other healthful attributes. It helps to reduce stress. It helps you to sleep much longer. As you're relaxing more and more, it feels so very, very good. And then we've got another one, which is very, very important. On the bottom, in the middle of your back, more or less, slightly down, you've got your kidneys, and above them are your adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands generate adrenaline, cortisol, and DHEA. Now, DHEA is your master sex hormone and has many other hormonal functions. However, if you're in a stressed state, what happens is your adrenal glands become overworked and they produce cortisol. But the adrenals can't produce a DHEA and cortisol. So it's one or the other. And if they're producing cortisol, then you can't relax, you can't sleep. So this is one of our little superstars that can really help people relax during the day and at night, preparing them and getting them ready to sleep. Such a deep, deep sleep, relaxing, and they're drifting down, down, down into the deepest possible sleep. A sleep that is so restful and so peaceful that everyone felt so very, very relaxed. Down, down, down into the deepest possible sleep. And in the adrenal remedy, we've got Scaletium again, which relaxes you. Licorice root, Siberian ginseng, Rosa rosea, which is an adaptogen, which helps your body to adapt to stress, calms you down, and makes you feel ever, ever so good. Then we've got ginger, which is very, very healthy. Now, ginger relaxes the gut, takes away nausea, and helps you to sleep. And then another one, which we've got, is ashwagandha. And ashwagandha is another adaptogen, very, very powerful, taking you into the deepest possible sleep. And it feels so very, very good. As I mentioned, serotonin is another one of the brain amino acids that is absolutely imperative. Now, serotonin is made by, in this case, passion flower, St. John's wort, which is another relaxing herb, and an antidepressant herb, and tryptophan. Now, tryptophan is what we take in, which then converts to hydroxytryptophan, which is 5-hydroxytryptophan, 5-HTP, you've heard of that. Then it converts into melatonin, relaxing you, taking you down, down, down. Feeling so very, very relaxed. So peaceful. Feeling so very, very wonderful. And feeling so very, very good. And then as you're feeling better and better, we go on to something which can really, really add to all the herbs. And it's called the Sleep Enhancement Machine. Now, this little machine was developed by a friend of mine. Some call him a genius. Some call him crazy and mad. But a genius he is. And a few years ago, quite a few years ago, he decided to make a machine that would enhance sleep because of all the issues that we've spoken about. This little machine is placed next to your bed. And if you notice, on top of the machine is a button. Now, all you do is you plug the machine in, put it next to your bed, and when the light starts flashing, you press the button. And what it does is it broadcasts a modulated ultrasonic, which is a high frequency sound, which you don't hear, and infrared light, also modulated at a certain frequency. And what it does is it starts off in the beta area, and it takes you right down over a period of time, which has been worked out scientifically. It draws you down deeper and deeper into the most wonderful sleep. And people have said that they remember their dreams. I've got one person who used to wake up 10 times a night, and he's been using it. And now he says that his sleep is 80% better. And he's only waking up 3 times, and that's only because of the issue he has with needing to go along a few times at night. But his sleeping has improved dramatically. I've tried the machine, and I find I sleep so well, so relaxed, so peaceful. And then you spend hours and hours sleeping deeply, and it draws you right down into REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, where you're healing, where your memory is improving, where your body is improving, where you're healing, where your mind is detoxing. Actually, your brain is detoxing and your mind is relaxing. Deeper, deeper, and deeper. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go. As you relax and drift and dream down, 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 plumbing the depths of sleep. And it feels so very, very good. And after the correct number of hours, so it starts to take you out of that deeply relaxed state that you've been in, as you've been healing and drifting and dreaming those dreams which you will remember later. It slowly brings you out. And as it brings you out, you leave behind those things which do not serve you, and you bring with you things which serve you, and you feel so very, very much better. And when you wake, so you feel so very good, and you feel that you have had a good night's sleep, rested and refreshed, alive, alert, awake, and feeling fantastic. Friends, that's the end of the slideshow. I'm going to hand back to Tandy Michelle.
I wasn't asleep, okay.
Well, yeah, I thought you were.
You spoke so nicely. I think we were all so relaxed now. Wow.
Well, you're supposed to be relaxed.
Who else enjoyed that? Hey? That was so lovely. Dr. Steve, you rocked it tonight.
Thank you. I must say that sitting on the beach there, and I'm not sure if that's Wild Waters at I'm not sure if it's Wild Waters, but I can tell you that Andres and I did study a bit of hypnosis together, so that's where we know him.
And Daniel says, I'm sleeping, leave me alone.
Yeah, anyway, alive, alert, awake, feeling fantastic.
Well, Dr. Steve, are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fire away, people. Raise your hand. Yvonne, you first for a question.
I think we should ask Dr. Steve to do us a little voice recording that goes with the little sleep machine. I mean, yeah.
Yvonne, we can do that. You know, that's very easy
That
to
would be amazing.
Yeah, so we can do a relaxation.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, audio, absolutely can.
Okay, thanks.
Actually, while we're busy doing that, can I ask that you do us a falling asleep guide, like an audio guide, like you just did now with us, and now you're getting tired kind of thing. And I'll put it on the YouTube channel, and you guys can play it whenever you need to.
We can do that. We
Yeah.
can absolutely do that.
It'll
Yeah.
be fantastic.
And
Yeah.
Andres, are you the one that did the meditation with Dr. Steve? Okay.
It wasn't actually meditation, it was hypnosis, in fact.
Hypnosis. Okay, Andres, unmute yourself quickly. Unmute yourself. I've got something to ask.
Click on your
Maybe
mic.
sleep.
Sorry, I didn't see it's off.
Okay. Andres, can you speak Afrikaans?
Yes, I am Afrikaans.
Okay, can you do us an Afrikaans one?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Anyone else got any other languages that they can speak that they can do us another language?
Portuguese. Portuguese.
What is wrong?
Portuguese?
Yes, let's do a Portuguese one. We've got a big Portuguese.
I'm sure we can translate Afrikaans or English to Portuguese.
Exactly. Yes, you just follow what they do with their voices and you do it.
Yeah,
You
I
follow
think
them.
what we must do is between me and Dr. Steve, we must get together because I've got a studio, a recording studio. So we can make a nice MP3 for you guys.
Yes. Okay, so I'm putting, Dr. Steve has my number. Everybody connect with me, record it. I can do like a video thing over the front if you guys aren't able to. I'll do like a video thing over it with nature scenes. And we'll throw it on YouTube on this channel. And then I'll also can also release it in audio clips. Let's help each other, help everybody that struggles to sleep. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do that.
Cool. Sorted. Now, who's got questions?
Just need to go to sleep.
Okay, so I've got a question.
Okay.
Yvonne, tell us your experience with the sleep enhancing machine.
Oh, yes, with pleasure. I've had mine now for about 2 weeks, and I've never really struggled to sleep before, but the quality of sleep is phenomenal, and it sort of seems to have increased as I've been using it over these 2 weeks. But the biggest bonus of all is that I recall dreams, and I think I've had some really brain waves that I've managed to recall, because I think we all had them in our sleep. But, you know, by the time you wake up, usually it's gone. So I'm able, as I'm waking up, to just go over and process. Right, this, that. Or it comes to me when I'm in the shower. But that's been absolutely fantastic because I've never really recalled dreams before. So I love my little machine. Thank you for that.
Okay, so I'll just tell you one thing about it. What Yvonne said there was that it took about 2 weeks for her to get really into it. And the reason is that it does brainwave coaching. So it actually trains your brainwaves and your neurotransmitters. So it creates new pathways. And in fact, we've had some reports where people are epileptic fits have stopped after using the machine. So it's actually retraining your brain neural pathways. So it's quite a unique device, and then it's unique in the world. I don't think there's anybody else who has them in the world.
Very good. I got one as a gift, and I just used it last night. Was my second night. The first night was a bit rough. I felt like someone had hit me with a hammer on the back of the head. But I think it's part of the training of the neural pathways. And last night was very easy.
Yeah. So it takes about a week to 2 weeks before you get the entrainment to really start. And then it builds up from there.
Great. Nice to have all these nice new technology tools. Okay, so Elsie, you're next.
Thank you, Tondi. Thank you, Dr. Steve. I would like to know, I'm not too keen on machines, I have to admit, but is there any of these products that would enhance lucid dreaming while sleeping?
Yeah, most of them will. Certainly, you can take your pick of the actual products, because they all will do that, because basically what we have to do is drop ourselves right down into the REM sleep, and it can enhance them. It probably won't enhance as much as the machine, because the machine's just sound waves and light. That's all it is. But yes, they certainly can, because you have to get into that deeper sleep.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Anyone else? Roanne, Pia, do you have a question for us? Donnie? I think they've all fallen asleep.
Dr. Steve, you should wake them all up. Down to 5.
Yeah, we'll have to pick our fingers. Awake and alive, alert, and yeah, there we are. Some people have woken up now.
Ah, good for you, Alison.
How are you, Alison?
You need to unmute yourself, sweetie.
There we go. I want to know about PTSD and sleep. Did you hear?
Yes. Post-traumatic stress. That's what you're talking about, is it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if it retrains your neurons and your neural pathways, it can be very, very helpful. You generally would have to do some sort of system to release the energy, the emotional energy that's in your system, though, because you would have a program running in the background which you don't realize. Can we mute that mic?
So mute, Mom.
I don't know who. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you would have a program running, and this can certainly help to remove that program. I don't have enough experience with post-traumatic stress with using this machine. I don't have the experience yet, because we work a lot with it, but we have another system for releasing it. But yes, it would be helpful without any doubt.
Can I come in here, Dr. Steve?
Of course, Andries.
Your post-traumatic stress syndrome is basically related to some trauma in life. So if it's trauma related, you got to release the trauma first. But yeah, there is certain ways to do that. And then, unfortunately, you can't do it like in in a session or two, it will take time to get over this trauma-related problem.
Agreed. This is a time in history where we really have to fix ourselves and work on the trauma. A lot of people are having bad dreams at the moment.
Yeah. So I believe that the programming will be helpful. Let me say that. But you certainly would probably have to release that trauma as well. But we'd have to get some reports. We don't have enough information at this stage as to how effective it would be. But with the knowledge we've got now, Andres is quite right. You need to release it. Depending on the methods you use, some will be quicker than others.
Right. Thank you. Anyone else with a question?
It's me. Dr. Steve, when using that machine, how far do you need to put it away from your bed, or how close can you have it to your head?
You can have it very close to your head. You know, it can be on your pedestal right next to you, but it must be in line of sight. So it could, in other words, it won't go through walls. It won't go through somebody else's head. So what you would normally do is, if there's two people in the bed, then you would raise the machine and point it downwards. So then it points directly at you. So it's the line of sight. Because there is light involved, as I said, it's infrared light, and then there's the sound as well. So the sound is modulated, but it's a high frequency. It's about 40 kilohertz, but it's modulated down to the Earth's frequency, which is about 7.83 hertz. So you're actually getting the balancing effect of the Schumann frequency, 7.83 hertz. But it should be line of sight. So it could be 5 meters away. It'll still work as long as it's line of sight, but it's better to have it closer.
Okay, because I used it the first night and I've been a little bit scared to use it again, because that morning I fell asleep beautifully and I had it sort of on the back of my head the whole night. And I woke up with the most excruciating migraine that next day that I couldn't shake no matter what I took. Is that part of, I don't know what I don't know why, I don't know if it's coincidental that I woke up with that migraine.
Okay, so where was the device? Where did you have it?
It was on my bedside table, and I put it towards my pillows, and I fell asleep, and I actually didn't turn around at night. I wasn't restless at all. I slept in that same position the whole night with my back of my head to the device. And I woke up at about 7.5 hours later. It was 7 hours, and I felt like a dull headache, so I switched the machine off. But as the day progressed, by the time I got up, I didn't know what to do with myself with migraine.
Okay, so what I would suspect was happening there is that you were detoxifying. Remember that when you go into a deep sleep, it opens up the lymphatic system. So it's actually taking out the toxins and the dead neurons, etc., from your brain. So what I would do is I would maybe use it for an hour or so before going to bed, and then slowly, you know, obviously it's difficult to build up, but you need to do that and drink lots of water during the day to actually clear the toxins out.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's not usual for that to happen, but it would seem to be a detox Herxheimer reaction.
Okay.
Dr. Steve?
Andres.
Okay. I just want to share with you guys something that I do. Every night before I go to bed, about half an hour, I make myself some ginger and lemon water. And then half an hour before I go to bed, I drink that. It helps you also to lose weight. It actually detoxes your whole system. And it also loosens the fat around your liver. For especially people that's a little bit obese like myself, you can get a flat tummy after a while, drinking this mixture of ginger and lemon water before, half an hour before you go and sleep. And in the morning when I wake up, that's the first drink I make myself again. The gin and lemon water before, about an hour before I have a cup of coffee. So yeah, that's all I want to share with you guys.
It's actually very valuable information. I think we all have been in a good habit like that at some point and then just let it go. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. The trick is you got to be committed.
Yeah. I just don't like, I like lemon, but I don't like the lemon on my teeth. Yeah.
You should actually, with lemon, just by the by, you should always rinse your mouth out and your teeth out after lemon, because although it makes your body alkaline because of the minerals in it, it actually can corrode your teeth. So it's acidic in your mouth. So if you drink lemon water, always rinse your mouth out. Otherwise, you could have enamel issues at a later time.
Yeah.
We've had a number of people who've done that and not rinsed and had teeth issues afterwards. So just remember that.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in any of those citrus drinks, like orange as well, lime, you've got to be careful of them.
I'm wondering I think it will be better if I actually use the lemon essential oil.
You can use the lemon essential oil. We've got it in, I think, the adrenal remedy, it's in there. So you can take it that way. There's different possibilities. Yeah. But lemon is very good. It's just that you need to rinse your mouth out.
Yeah.
Which one is that? I can't see.
doTERRA lemon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's food grade.
Okay.
Not all essential oils are food grade.
Yes. Yes, if they're synthetic.
Yeah.
Then they might not be. So essential oils, of course, can be very expensive if they are the real thing. Made from rose leaf, you need a few hundred roses to make a bottle like that.
Yeah. 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 Anyone else with some more questions? Donnie, Jensen, have you fallen asleep? Or are you still driving?
No, I didn't fall asleep. I was just listening to all the wise information that Dr. Steve gave us tonight. It is really, I wish I can remember everything. I will surely wait for this recording. But Dr. Steve really did it again today. It is really eye-opening and mind-wrecking to hear what can be done with sleep. And I'm a guy that easily only go to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have to look after myself, and I know I must. But I'm a guy that runs around the clock easily. During this meeting, I was just called, asked, where are you? I was supposed to be in a meeting in Rosebank this evening, and I forgot about it because the previous evenings was too long. So yes, Dr. Steve, thank you very much. I will really do it. And then just on previous one, what's the name? The vitamin C. I'm now working on it like a slave. I'm doing my vitamin C. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks for your kind words, Donnie. That's wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
Great. How about you, Teresa?
I don't really have any questions, Tandi, but yes, thank you, Dr. Steve. That was very, very informative. I must say. Oh, yes, something that I wanted to ask you. Would this help for animals as well?
Normally it will. We've had
Okay.
we've had that experience with animals. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. No, most of I don't have a problem falling asleep. Okay. I don't think I sleep soundly. All right. And I also don't think I get enough sleep. And then I'm up at like 4:45 in the morning. So yes, I'm having to go to bed really like early-ish to be able to get in my full quota. What are we supposed to have? 8 hours? Is that about it?
7 to 8 hours is pretty much what you need. Preferably 8 if you can, but a lot of us will battle to fit that in, but as close to 8 as possible.
Okay, no, cool.
But the secret is good sleep.
Yes,
So if you have 7 hours of really good sleep, better than 8 hours of terrible sleep.
Absolutely, yeah. I find like my little spaniel. I mean, she gets me up. I mean, sometimes it's like 3 times. So yes, so that's my broken sleep. It's like having a baby. So that's why I asked, would it help for pets as well?
Does she just wake you up because she's bored, or does she need to go somewhere?
No, she would normally go out. Yeah. In winter, it's about maybe once. I know the last 2 nights she hasn't actually been out, but like summertime, oh my gosh, it could be like 3 times, you know, and that's not very good for your sleep patterns if you're having to wake up that frequently. So yeah.
Yeah,
I will definitely look at all these things. Thank you. That was really, really great.
You might need a doggy door.
Yes, maybe that is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think about that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Okay. Eunice, do you and your family have any more questions?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Steve, for the really eye-opening tips to help us sleep better. Just one question. Would light stretching and exercise before sleeping benefit you, or would it keep you awake, or what would you say to that?
I would say that most people will be fine with that, but some people, it could keep them awake, some people. So I would normally do it a couple of hours before sleeping. However, some people, everybody's different, let me say that. Let me give you an example. You actually know this lady, Bruce. She could not sleep unless she had a cup of coffee before going to bed. She could not sleep. She would stay awake all night. She would have coffee and then she could sleep. So I'm just saying, everybody's different. So that light stretching is not bad, but if you did some hectic running or serious exercise, you might have an issue with that.
Thank you.
And I must just say something. Hello, Noah. That's Noah there.
How are you doing?
Well, you, Noah. Good to see you, mate.
I've been eating and I've been here,
Good. But good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, you too.
Good.
And thank you for joining us tonight, Noah.
You're welcome.
Cool. Okay, so next month, around about the same time, Dr. Steve will speak to us again. If you guys want to join, Dr. Steve will let us know what the topic will be. And we'll see you then again, Noah, okay?
Okay, cool.
Deal. Got to look after our health, always.
Yeah.
Good. Right. Okay, can we see you all in a month's time? Have a happy evening.
You too.
Sleep well.
Bye.
Thanks, Tandy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Good
Dr.
night.
Steve. Much appreciated.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.
Thank you, Dr. Steve. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.